Balls. Finally back again with another episode of this. Welcome to Bucket List Binge. I was actually going to cut that part out because I was testing to see if my mic was actually connected because it's been so friggin' long. But finally back again. I'm recording this at the ass crack of dawn because I record this part of this episode. Oh my god, it's so bad. I shouldn't be recording this early. I recorded this a while ago. It was it was a month ago. I had planned to finally record again, and then I just didn't. Like I record the intro part where I talk about the movie, and then I just didn't. I didn't go. I guess I didn't watch the movie yet, so it's still unwatched, and still I can still give my predictions about it. Let me look that up while I'm rambling here. Lots happened since the last episode, but since nobody really tunes in, who the fuck cares? Finally got this on Spotify. We're on Spotify now, or I'm on Spotify, using Anchor. So hopefully, look that up really quick. Hopefully it. I heard it eventually charges me, so I'll keep uploading it up until when it starts charging me. But it hasn't said. What's weird is that I'm going on the website now. It doesn't have anything about like subscriptions, whatever. I trust that it's probably gonna. Nothing's free, so I trust that it's probably gonna eventually tell me that I'm gonna have to wait, available? Oh, it's going to charge me at some point. I'm sorry. All right. So, this movie's going to be today's movie. I'm sorry. I'm rambling again. Today's movie is going to be, I'm just so excited to be back. This is going to be Inception this time. Still know nothing about Inception. I don't have my mic monitoring on too, by the way, so this is horrible. Great return too, by the way. This is gonna be horrible then. Oh well, I can't find any headphones to plug into my mic. I have my normal, like, just Bluetooth listening headphones. I guess I could plug my gaming headset in. I'm too lazy. So let me look up. Oh, I shouldn't look up anything. I'll look up like the cast. I won't read like the short description about it. I'll look up the reviews. It's 91% like movie, and then it's 8.8 IMDb, 87 Rotten Tomatoes, 74 Metacritic. All I know about this movie is that apparently it's supposed to be just a trip. You know what I mean? Let me look up images. It's got Elliot Page in it. Huh. I didn't know he was in it. Leo, I knew. That guy from friggin'... I don't know why... Alright, so what's his name? Hold on. Tom Hardy's in it. That's awesome. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He was in, like, a movie about a bike. I think. Oh, that's right. He was in Dark Knight. What else was he in? I could have sworn there was a movie that he was in that was about, like, being on a bike or something. I don't... Premium Rush. Was that it? Was that the movie? Let me see. Yeah, he's on a bike. What is he, an Uber driver? Or like a non-Uber driver, but like a delivery driver? What is... What? This will be the next one, maybe. I don't know. Wasn't really well. I've never even... It's not a classic. It's not, I can't... Or I don't know. Maybe I'll say that, and then one of my friends that will listen to this will be like, "You never seen Premium Rush with Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Bro, that's like a classic, bro. It's even got Dania Ramirez," said that wrong probably, Jamie Chung, Michael Shannon. I know Michael Shannon. He was in, apparently he was in 8 Mile. I didn't know he was in it. Maybe 8 Mile will be the next one. Oh, man, I actually kind of want to see that. That's not the point of this episode. Yeah, Inception. Let me get back to Inception. So I know nothing about this movie, so this intro will be short. I can't even really make any sort of prediction. Wait, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in Endgame? What the fuck was he in Endgame? Hold on, I'll get to that in a second. I don't want to get too off track. He was in a movie about Edward Snowden. Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, Inception. I think, yeah, wasn't it supposed to be about like being in a dream within a dream? It's supposed to be some sort of Doctor Strange-esque, I think, trip or something. I don't know. I know there was like the meme with like the theme of the movie. There's that little spinny top looking thing. I was about to call it a dreidel, but I know it's not a dreidel. I don't think it is. But it's got that spinny top thing. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to represent. It's that, but that I know has been spinning top, because I know I saw posters about it. I see that like they almost described it there, and I don't want to know that just quite yet. I didn't read that. It did that thing where Google will give you like kind of like top result or whatever right up at the top. I don't want to know yet. I don't want to know about the spinning top until I watch the movie. But yeah, that God, there's not really much. I wish I had more to talk about what I had predict. I'm really going into this completely blind. I know nothing about it. I know it's just supposed to be fucking wild and is confusing because it's made by Christopher Nolan, but I think a part of me always thought it was made by M. Night Shyamalan because it was just supposed to be such a fucking weird ass movie. But yeah. So hold on. Let me before I get off this part of the podcast. What was Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Endgame? I'm gonna look it up, and it's gonna like just blow my mind that he was in it or something. Joins Marvel as a guard. As a guard. What? I see articles that have obviously been before Endgame. It says like rumor Joseph Gordon-Levitt recently met with Marvel. Endgame. What? I don't get. Wait. Asgard. Wait. I don't think that this is Avengers Endgame. This isn't Avengers Endgame. It's just a movie called It's not even a movie. Apparently, it's a short film, but it's 7 minutes long. 2018 Endgame. The description is: a loving father faces different obstacles in a desperate attempt to attend his daughter's championship volleyball game. And he plays a guard, I guess, just as guard. So he's not even like, I'm assuming like the top cast here, it says Vico Escorcia as Sophia, and then Jacob Vargas as Alberto. But they have names. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is just a guard, as guard. Okay. Well, that kind of okay, that was disappointing. So what? There's no way he was in. But it's nothing here about Avengers Endgame at all. But yeah, Endgame was 2019. This is stupid. Okay. Because I knew like if I looked up just Endgame, it wasn't gonna. Is he even credited on like it's probably just a Google like not glitch, but like they saw like it's a movie called Endgame compared to Avengers Endgame, and it's they're like, oh, he was in something called Endgame. It must be Avengers. Fuck, throw him in. Is he even correct? Hold on, let me quickly just scroll through this list, which is a big friggin' list. Obviously, he's not even like. It says Ryan Reynolds was apparently there. yeah, I'm not seeing them like immediately credited on Google's cast thing. But then when I guess you go to like IMDb, they give you more. I ain't gonna go through that. I don't think he was in it. And then, like somebody will listen to this and say, he was right there. You don't remember? No, I haven't seen Avengers Endgame in like a year and a half, probably. I think more than that, probably 2 years now. So, oh well, I'm sorry. But anyway, um, yeah, excited to be on Spotify now. Hopefully, the plan with that, before I get into outroing this segment, um, I'm gonna upload every episode. Every episode is up there now, up until Jaws. So I only have 6 episodes. And the plan is to keep uploading to Spotify and then eventually get off of YouTube. I'll probably stop uploading to YouTube after like a couple more episodes. I don't know. The thing is that I like uploading there because at least it gives me some exposure. But the other thing is that I want it to also be available on Spotify because Spotify is easier to listen to for most people. I don't like the idea. Like I hated when I started uploading to YouTube because I'm like, I have no way to upload it to Spotify or whatever. That's going to cost me an arm and a leg. Now I found Anchor, which will probably charge me after like a lot. I've already uploaded like a good amount. I mean, it's every episode. One of them was like an hour and a half long. But it hasn't asked me. It hasn't limited it at all. So I don't know. But if it does, I can probably just spend it because I finally got a new job, which is why I want to try to get back into recording these. So it's a job where I have a much more consistent schedule, thank God. But yeah, so hopefully after the new job starts too, I can also get these uploaded consistently. I want to do these on Monday. But yeah, the whole Spotify thing, maybe I'll keep uploading it to YouTube. Eventually I'll phase off of YouTube. If it actually starts getting some traction, people want to listen to it mostly on Spotify, I'll probably switch to just that. But for right now, just for a little bit of, just so it's uploaded to a couple platforms and it's a little bit more exposed out there, I'll upload it to both. But prefer Spotify listeners. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please go check it out on Spotify. I prefer it on these. Check it out there. Get the numbers up. Do whatever you got to do to try to get. Because I see the numbers and it. Obviously, I mean, I'm not getting any. I got one listen to on the Jaws episode, and I think I know who that is. So I got 0 on everything else. I have no ads. I think it automatically adds the ads. I don't know if it does, but yeah. They have a money. Wait, host read ads. Tell your listeners what you love about Anchor and get paid one. Tell my listeners about what I love about Anchor and get paid. I shouldn't be reading these out, should I? Oh, there's like subscriptions that I can offer people, listener support. Okay. There's money apparently to be made. I'm not in this on the money. I do Twitch streams, obviously. I try to advertise those as much as possible, but those don't make that much. People subscribe. I make a little bit. I'm not in that for the money. I just do it. I do mostly this just for fun. And then if it gains any traction, hey, that's even better. But all right, on to the movie. I'll stop rambling and maybe I'll try to see if I can put like a little funny interlude like sound effect here so you know when it's changed. All right, quick little disclaimer. I can't edit how loud this like lo-fi kind of transition is, so just turn down the volume a little bit. Anchor doesn't have anything where I can turn down the volume of it. Don't know why. And then it gave me trouble trying to find out how to record this right on the web browser. So I need to go into Audacity, record this, and then put it into the episode. A little bit of a complaint. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to disclaim that. All right, and I just finished watching it, and just holy shit, man, that was a good one. I'll say that right off the bat. That was a trippy movie. I got a lot to talk about, or at least I want to try to talk about. Hopefully, I remember half of it. Um, but Jesus, wow. Okay, I kind of went into it thinking I wasn't gonna really like it, or it was just gonna be like just real stupid and kind of confusing. It was confusing at points, I'll say that, but I think for the most part, it was this some was it a big meme that this movie was hard to understand, that people were just like, oh my god, this is insane fucking Inception level confusion. I don't know what's going on, because I always heard like people saying that. That was a good one. Fucking Jesus Christ. So what should I talk about first? I think what I want to talk about first is his fucking crazy Freddy Krueger-esque wife. That was the thing I wanted to say. Where she's dead. Yes, she's supposed to, because she had killed herself in the real world after coming back. Which I didn't understand the first time. Like, when he was explaining his wife, like what happened with her, I'm like, so wait, they did Inception, or not the Inception. They did Dream Share. Or actually, hold on. That's actually I almost spoiled. So they did a Dream Share for like 50 years and basically played Minecraft creative mode for almost 51. I think that's the first segment. Audacity's Jesus Christ. All right, hold on. Do it right in the middle of when I'm talking. Should I pause the recording? No. But so they did Dream Share, and then they played Minecraft creative mode for 50 something years and whatever, and then they were like losing their minds or whatever. He realized that they had to get out of it. And then the first time he told the story, he was like, oh, when they got out of it, his wife questioned reality, if it was real or not, and figured that if she just died, that they would snap back or whatever or something. I don't know. I didn't get what that was about. And then that was what I was kind of confused about. I'm like, so wait, did she kill herself in the real world or the Inception, or not the dream world? And then it's later found out that when I say Inception, I say that as like, oh, they did an Inception, which is just, that's not the true definition of the Inception, what they were doing in the movie, but or in that part of the movie, they did do an Inception to try to put the idea in the guy's head that he needed to break up the father's company so that one guy, I can't remember it kept saying like they kept calling him Saito. So they needed to have him believe that he needed to break up the company in order to do so. That's the real Inception. But we didn't know that Cobb inceptioned his wife in order to think that, to leave the dream world in order to come back to the real world, but it caused her to go like infect her mind, whatever, cause her to disbelieve that reality was real. So it led her to killing herself in order to I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but that's what happened. She had done that in order to try to think that she needed to come back to the real world or what have you. But that was insane. Then like I've said it before in like movies that I've watched where there's always that point where there's like a lot of not like anxiety but like suspense and what have you when they're trying to like the conclusion of the movie and whatever. It's like the movies that I've seen before, and then like especially like the mob movies. You want to talk about having like suspense and being on the edge of your seat. It's when they need to come back to the point when they need to get kicked back into, or they're waiting for the kick or what have you. So like already it starts off by Saito being shot. So then you're like, oh, we need to rush now because he's going to die and fucking turn into a vegetable because he'll be lost in his subconscious. And they're trying to like advance forward each layer of the dream. And then at the end there where they're like, oh, we need to go into a fourth level now in order to get into in order to revive Fisher. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm burping. Excuse me. But they need to get back. They need to find Fisher in, I think it's Leo's or somebody's. I didn't understand that part. So they need to kick Murphy so that so it's Fisher. I'm reading off there so I remember the names. Cillian Murphy playing Fisher. They need to kick Fisher so he comes back so that he's alive again after his fucking after Cobb's Freddy Krueger wife shot him and assuming like he had killed him, and then have him open up the vault, and it's all this happening while like the kicks are in motion because like time moves slower in each layer of what have you. So it's like already like they get to the point where they're doing like a Black Ops 1-esque like infiltration mission in like Siberia or what have you, and they're doing this all while the van's already in motion to be kicked. uh and it's, oh Jesus Christ, the last segment, it's like, are they going to wake up at time? Everybody's waking up at different times. What the fuck's going on? They're trying to get to, then he's like having his emotional moment with his phantom wife in one reality. Well, and then you're like, oh, well, he needs to find Sato so that he can come back fully. I was hoping to see like, I'm glad that at least happened with like some characters. I was like, I want to see kick to kick to kick, where they jump out of the Siberia world and then into the one where they're at the hotel and then back into the normal world, and then eventually it ends off with Cobb being kicked into like finally the real world, which is questionable, I guess. Jesus Christ. And then all of this is like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I thought GTA heists were hard sometimes, like some of the intense moments that I've had with friends playing that. Imagine like doing I want to call this like dream heist, but they're not even really heisting. They're more like trying to implant an idea into somebody's head. So instead of stealing, they're leaving something behind. All the while, like, there's all these different rules, and I think they did a good job of explaining the rules of being into these dream sequences or what have you. You know, like I was following along and be like, wait a minute, only so and so can do this, and like they can only like the whole like kick to, like they say, like falling gravity or what have you. But at moments I was confused with that whole rule, because when the van had flipped over, so it's like, wait, you're telling me that they need to have like maybe it's like a substantial like change in gravity or what have you, where they're throwing them off of a bridge rather than just a fucking van rolling around. I guess only the van rolling around affects the gravity of that world and whatnot. But some of the rules are probably got. I want to rewatch this. Honestly, I want to do a part 2 on this because, like, I mean, it's already 7 minutes in, and I feel like I've talked mostly about what I want, but I still feel like there's more. The whole, yeah, the fucking, it's weird. So I'm more, I think I get hung up on like the logistics of the movie. Or is that the right word? I'm hung up on like the whole, how the hell does this work? So they need a sedative in order to go to sleep, and they need to be all hooked up to this machine, but like, it's like using fluids. So it's like, how are they connecting their consciousnesses, whatever multiple consciousness is. Are they like hooked up to wires? Are they like sharing blood? Like what's going on here? I don't understand how it's using like a sedative chemical. I don't know. Maybe it's something in the chemical. I don't fucking know. They all need to be hooked up to the specific machine. I think it'd be something if it was like hooking themselves up to the machine through like the injection of the sedative or whatever, and then like something on their head. But that's just me. But I guess that doesn't really matter. That's something stupid to complain about. I think I should jump right ahead and talk about the ending of the movie, where everything goes well, everybody's alive. I assume like they all manage to get out of the dream state, and then he finally sees his kids' faces for the first time. Well, not for the first time. I think it's seeing his kids' faces after what happened, because I mean he already knows what they look like, and that's something else I want to talk about, is faces in dreams, that I found out not recently, but I feel like a couple years ago. But then he, of course, spins the top, and then he goes over and sees his kids' faces. And the whole thing with the top, which I talked about in the previous segment that I want to find out about, because that has some sort of substantial meaning to it. Hold on. That's another thing. Hold on. I looked up, and it showed a quick thing about the top. Yeah, spinning top, when I looked it up earlier. Spinning top. At the end of Inception, Dom Cobb, Leonardo, finally returns home to his kids after spending a long time in the dream world. Cobb carries a little top of the... if it keeps spinning, that means he's in a dream. If it stops and falls over, it means he's back in reality. Okay, so that's yeah. So that's what I had caught from it, was that it's supposed to be a totem, which is supposed to be symbolic of whether or not they're in a dream. Inception ending. Why the spinner stopped. Why the Inception explains the spinning top in Inception. Blah blah blah. All this other stuff. So I think. So it ends off with it's still spinning, sort of, right? I looked at that and I'm like, there's no way that they're really gonna like. I was like, what? They're gonna end off with it still spinning, right? But the thing was that it wasn't spinning perfectly like I think it's supposed to in the dream, right? It shows him like spinning it in the safe and it keeps going. And obviously that means it's in a dream. I guess it's something with the gravity or what have you. They explained it sort of like that. It's something with the gravity. I don't know how, but it just says that it still spins and what have you. But the thing was, at the end of the movie, it was wobbling a lot, right? And I'm like, it's gonna just topple over at any second. Since it did just cut off right where it's still technically spinning and making you think that it's in the dream world, like he didn't come back or what have you. I have a pretty good feeling that he returned. I think he's in the real world. I think I like that reality where everything just went well. Fisher got inceptioned, according to plan. Well, kind of according to plan. They had to fucking improvise a lot, and it was a fucking shit show. But they managed to do it right. Cobb got cleared of all of his charges of out of the suspicion that he had killed his wife or his wife. I don't know how that whole situation works. So you're telling me that your wife very obviously committed. Maybe it was because the room was a mess. Maybe that's why they thought. You know what? That's why. Now that I think about it, that's why the room was a mess. Which I don't know why. I guess she wanted to frame him. That's right. A lot of this is coming back to me. She said that she had filed a report or something like that saying that she was afraid of her life or what have you. And then she had killed her, or she had jumped out the window. And because of that, she made the room look like a mess. So it looked like he must have thrown her out the window. That never was said that's what happened. But that's something that you must have just had to piece together, that she made it look like she was thrown out the window. She was murdered by him, and she said that she was afraid of her life or whatever. Apparently, Saito is powerful enough to just clear those charges. That's a little odd to me, but hey, he gets to come back home and being cleared of those charges and gets to see his kids again. And I like that reality, or I like that ending actually being the reality. Let's look up, is Cobb still in limbo? Adrian successfully Aridine, that's what Aridine successfully retrieves. Well, it's played by Elliot Page. So I guess how does that work? I'm not trying to be. I didn't want to touch on this subject, but how does that work? So you obviously should say that the actor's correct pronouns now, but referring to their character in the movie, I guess you should still say he. But it was okay. Aridine, I'm sorry if it comes off offensive. I just don't understand how those logistics work, because it's sort of something new that happens in Hollywood where somebody transitions. I'm getting hung up on this too much. So Aridine successfully retrieves Fisher. Cobb stays behind in limbo to retrieve Saito, whose wounds are have also plunged him into limb. They just say limb. But I really don't have to tell you about that in full. And the team gets off a 10-hour flight from Australia to Los Angeles. Why did Cobb spin the top in the safe? Yeah, why did he do that? That doesn't make sense to me. Oh my god, somebody. I can't complain about this on the podcast because I know somebody might watch it and they send me these fucking messages all the goddamn time about something I don't care about. By placing a constantly spinning totem in the safe, Cobb is placing the idea in a very simple one inside her subconscious. It's not that she saw the totem spinning, but it was always spinning in her subconscious mind. This is why she thought she was trapped in the dream world. Oh. Because they say that the safe is supposed to be like stored secrets or whatever. Like we all imagine some sort of safe somewhere that we put our secrets into. Or that's like a subconscious thing. So he spun the top, meaning that making it feel like she is constantly in the dream world inside of the safe, which is supposed to be like connected. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, is Tenet a sequel to Inception? How or Tenet connects to Inception. While Tenet is not a direct Inception sequel, John David Washington himself has confirmed the films are related. Did Cobb make it back to reality? Kane's revelation about Inception's ending certainly eases the minds of fans who can now take solace in knowing that Cobb did actually make it back to his family in real life. I mean, the whole thing with the top, like, just like you could tell it was like wobbling a lot. I was like, no, it must be the real world. I mean, it's still spinning, yeah, but like tops spin for a friggin' while, right? And when they start losing gravity, they start doing that where they become unstable. And I feel like if it was the whole like being in the dream world thing, it would not do that. So myself, I really do feel like he made it back, because at any second that top was just gonna topple over. The spinning top was just it just, that's how I feel. So I'm happy I feel satisfied that he did actually make it back to the real world. What else did I want to talk about? There's something I wanted to. Fuck, there was something I just mentioned earlier that I was like, I'm gonna come back to, but let me pause, put a pause on the recording just to kind of go back to that. All right. Oh, and actually, I didn't need to go back that far in the recording. I just paused it for a moment. I know what I wanted to talk about. It was faces in dreams. So I had heard somewhere that faces in dreams that you have are like people that you've seen or what have you, and like you can't just dream up like a new face. Like it has to be somebody that you've at least seen before. Now I was thinking about that when they were showing like people in like subconscious, like the projections or whatever, like they're supposed to be like all of this could be very easily tied into any like video game movie where somebody's inside of a simulation, you know what I mean? But the projections of people are supposed to be, I guess, like just like, I don't know, AI based or not. They're supposed to be NPCs basically, right? But the whole thing with like seeing faces is that they all have a face, right? And I guess like with this whole, I mean, he knows what his kids' faces look like. I guess he was just saving himself to see their face. I mean, come on, like, how do you not know what your kids fucking look like? That's the whole thing. He's like, he wants to see them, but wait, why are there like two? There are like two credits for Philippa, like his daughter, and then the kid, like James, 2 times. Magnus Nolan and Jonathan Greer, Taylor Greer, Claire Greer. Wait, were there like 4 fucking siblings? Did like what? I'll get to that in a second. But the whole face thing. So you can only see faces of people that you've actually seen in real life in your dreams, right? So you know, you can't just make up a face. And I was thinking, like, how does that work? And I'm assuming it's like maybe it just takes him from people. I mean, granted, that was a revelation that sort of came out, I think, later, like a few years ago, and this movie came out in like 2010. But I'm assuming maybe it's like if you work, like, let's say retail, like me, like I see so many people every day. Like maybe that's their faces fill in for like those NPCs in the background of your dream. Let's say if you live like a really lonely life, you don't have that many NPCs, I guess. But at the same time, maybe it's like you wouldn't be dreaming about walking down like New York City. Probably you'd probably be dreaming of like, I don't know, sitting at home or it being in a very lonely situation where there's not a lot of NPC characters around. But I don't know. That was something that I had I thought of when I was watching this. So why is what Magnus Nolan, like Christopher Nolan's son? It's a child actor who portrays James Cobb in Christopher Nolan's film Inception. He's the son of the director Christopher Nolan. Okay, that makes sense. But why is there 2 people credited as him? Also, I gotta say, Tom Hardy's part is like the forger, but like not like forging signatures. He can mimic people in movies. I think that was pretty dope. What else is this? Elizabeth Debicki was in this. Where is she? What have I seen her in? She's pretty cute. Was I just the son? So Oh, and then Jonathan Greer, child actor. He plays the role as 3-year-old James Cobb in the Christopher Nolan film. He also is the younger brother to Taylor Greer and Claire Greer, who play the older and younger. Wait, play older and younger Philippa Cobb? Wait, so... What? So there's an older and then a younger? But when did they show, like, the older and the younger, like, kids? Because, like, hold on. When he what did throw me off for a second was when he sees his kids, right, in the yard once he comes back to reality, was that they were wearing, like, the same shirts. I'm like, oh, not that much time must have been passed when he got accused of, like, killing his wife or what have you. But I don't... That was also another thing. It's like, well, if they're wearing the same clothes and it basically looks like the same... That was one thing that did throw me off, was that when he came home, his kids were basically in, like, the same situation that they were when he needed to leave. But I still do feel like it was in the real world, but it doesn't... So wait, there was a younger and then a older, slightly older version of his kids? I mean, like... So wait, the girl who played Philippa... Are siblings. I mean, they basically look the friggin' same. There's Claire Greer and Taylor Greer. So, or Gear? I'm saying that wrong, am I? It looks like Gear. I'm saying Greer. Gear. Imagine that. It's like, I mean, I guess you share a role, but it's like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna play the daughter. I'm playing the slightly older one. I don't get that. Okay. Wait, his wife. Oh, she does have an accent. She's French. I was like, I wonder if she's putting that on just because she can. I don't know. What have I seen her in? She was in... Wait. She was in... Where? She was in Dark Knight Rises. What was she in Dark Knight? I love when... Oh, Talia al Ghul. Okay. It's always fun whenever I see actors, like certain directors use like the same actors. Like Michael Caine's in it. Always happy to see him. That was Tom Berenger. Where have I heard that name before? I feel like there's just famous movies that he's probably been in that have like Platoon. I've heard the name before. I haven't seen anything that he's in. Somebody will watch this and be like, "You never heard of Tom Berenger, whatever the fuck." Looks like Berenger. He looked like to me like a who's Charlie Sheen's dad? I'll look it up. Charlie Sheen. I can't remember his dad's first name. Okay, yeah. Tell me his kids and his siblings, but not his fucking dad's name. Martin Sheen. I don't know. He just looked like it. Tom looked like an older version of, like an off-brand older version of Martin Sheen. I mean, Martin Sheen's already pretty old. What else is there? Let me look up their Wikipedia. I always like looking up the Wikipedia to these things. All right. Science fiction action. Yeah, I guess it's science fiction. It's more like fucking just... I guess, yeah, it's science fiction because it's a whole, like, dream sharing thing. Oh, I said before, too, that this was like a friggin'... I'm assuming it would be like a Doctor Strange. I think visually I thought it would be like Doctor Strange because I saw a lot of the images promoted for this movie where it's the sequence in the movie where Arizine morphs like the world, like they bend the city upwards in order to just to test out like the gravity. Cobb and Arthur are extractors that perform corporate espionage using experimental dream sharing technology to infiltrate their target's subconscious and extract information. Yeah, that's basically it. I was just wanting to see. Oh, you know, hold on. Here's something that I wanted to look up was the visual effects because the visual effects of this movie were really fucking cool. That was another thing too. Is the sequence where I think it was Arthur. That's Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character's name, I think. he ties them all together, bundled them up so that he can give them a kick all at once. But I'm like, gee, he had to be careful not to accidentally just like tie somebody's face right into somebody's ass. But granted, like some of them were waking up and somebody's legs are just like right there, like they're still smelling taint by accident. Um, I thought that was funny when they're all bundled together. But like a lot of the scenes there where they're like in slow motion, him fighting people like in anti gravity and like the hallways and stuff like that. Like the visual effects of this movie were really fucking good for something in 2010. Like there's some Marvel movies that will come out now where the visual effects are like they're good. Like I think some of the best visual effects that I've seen in any movie are probably like Endgame, like or like Infinity War, like specifically like Thanos' skin. Like the way that they did Thanos was really good. Um, but even then, like a lot of modern movies, even some Marvel will cheap out a little bit on the visual effects and look like total ass. But for 2010, I mean, this is. I was expecting to see probably like you can tell in superhero movies too, where somebody's on like a wire and they go flying through the air and it just looks like shit. Um, Movies, not even regarding like those awful CW shows, like that's not, that doesn't even count. That's how bad those visual effects are. But yeah, no, these ones were really great. Let me look up visual effects for dream sequences in Inception. Nolan used computer generated imagery, preferring practical effects whenever possible. Nolan said it's very important to me to do as much as possible in camera, and then, if necessary, computer graphics are very useful to build or enhance what you have already achieved physically. To this end, visual effects supervisor Paul Franklin built a miniature of the mountain fortress set and then blew it up for the film. Oh, like they did in like movies like Star Wars, where like they had like miniatures and then they need to blow it up. They blew it. That looked really good too for blowing up like the fortress. For the fight scene that took place in Zero Gravity. Yeah, so hold on, this is what I'm interested in. For the fight scene that takes place in Zero Gravity, he used CG-based effects to subtly blend elements like physics, space, and time. And the most challenging effect was the Limbo City level. Like this is a video game, you know, the Limbo City level in the hit 2010 Unity created game Inception. Okay, at the end of the film, because it continually developed during production, Franklin used artist build concepts while Nolan expressed his ideal vision, something glacial with clear modernist architecture, but with chunks of it breaking off into the sea like icebergs. Franklin and his team ended up with something that looked like an iceberg vision of Gotham City. That's with water running through it. That was really cool. I really liked that. That's what when I came up with the joke that him and his wife are playing fucking Minecraft creative mode, because I'll do that a lot in Minecraft. If I'm bored and I don't want to play survival, I'll just play creative mode and like build a city. Like I'll do it all the time when I'm bored. I guess that's what people just do when they have like the power to do so. I guess if you're in a dream and you're like, yeah, it's fine, let's just build. I mean, nobody's gonna inhabit them. I can't imagine lasting though like a week in a dream sequence like that. You know, I'd do all my goddamn like building and all this other stuff like probably the first couple days. Like I mean, I guess you got to go hand by hand or building by building, I should say, and then maybe fuck around like, you know, like as if it's that show Last Man Standing. Like if you're the only person on earth, you just go around fucking with stuff. But I mean, eventually you're living in a world where there's nobody there. They didn't have any of the projections living there. So, I mean, I'd just kind of be like, this is lonely. This is boring. It's really creepy. I mean, unless I created hold on. If you're scared, if you're creating a dream and you're scared, or you feel like an overwhelming amount of like the backroom sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like that whole meme that's going on, like that just eeriness, like something haunted, I guess. Could you accidentally project a ghost in your own dream to hunt you down? I mean, if he kills you or does what have you, you just wake up. If it's the normal dream sharing, not this experimental like high sedative one that they were doing where if you die in the dream you end up going into limbo. Let but that was just something I thought of. Let me keep reading the visual effects. The most challenging effect. Oh, the Limbo City, Gotham City with water running through it. They created a basic model of a glacier, and the designers created a program that added elements like roads, intersections, and ravines until they had a complex yet organic-looking cityscape. For the Paris folding sequence, Franklin had artists producing concept sketches, and they created through computer animations to give them an idea of what the sequence looked like while in motion. Later, during principal photography, Nolan was able to direct DiCaprio and Page based on this rough computer animation that Franklin had created. Inception had nearly 500 visual effects shots in comparison to Batman Begins had approximately 620, which is relatively few in comparison to contemporary effects heavy films, which can have as many as 2,000 visual effects shots. So this had less visual effects shots. Still did a pretty fucking good job. I mean, granted, I think it's with like the big city sequences where they're in dreams, where they need to show off that it's a dream and whatnot, and sequences of like the fight scenes too, where they're fighting in like zero gravity. So I can understand, yeah, there's less visual effects, but they're really good. I guess when you have like less sequences, when you have visual effects, you can spend more time and effort onto those, making them look better, which I think they did. Music by Hans Zimmer. That name keeps popping up. I think it's because he also did Batman. I think that's all. The Nolan Batmans. Oh boy. There's semantic critique, ending, release, marketing. Putative video game. In a November 2010 interview, Nolan expressed his intention to develop a video game set in the Inception world, working on a team of collaborators. He described it as a longer-term proposition, referring to the medium of video games as something I've wanted to explore. Dude, what? Did they ever even make a video game? I never heard of it, but like, dude, that would have been so fucking good, because like you can, with what Star Wars is doing with the Unity engine in order to develop their shows, Inception game edit during okay, so it doesn't look like it ever came to fruition. That's okay. Yeah, no, nothing. Fuck, that would have been cool though. I think that would have been really dope. I think a video game would have been a pretty good idea on something like that. But I was gonna say, like, Disney with that, I can't remember what they call it exactly, but it's that big room that's like has screens all the way around it, so they can generate like worlds and textures, and basically they don't need to go out on set. Like, they just have to decorate this room with whatever is going to be on the ground. Like if they're on Tatooine or what have you, they just have to throw sand around and whatnot, and then the rest of the landscape is generated, which I think is really fucking cool. And it moves with like the cameras too, so it's constantly regenerating. If a movie like this were to come out now, I think visual effects would be way easier too as well. But I always like really good practical effects. That was something else I want to talk about. I want to talk about Kenobi really quick. Well, not much, but I want to talk about Kenobi in one specific part of it, because a friend brought. There's a lot I could talk about Kenobi. Let me just, that whole Unity engine thing that I think it's Unity, the video game engine thing that they were that they're using. There's a scene in Kenobi where two stormtroopers walk away. I looked it up again. I rewatched it because I was telling somebody about it, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't notice that." It's in the newest episode at this time. It's the 4th episode that just come out, where they're escaping. Spoilers, by the way. So if you don't want to watch it, maybe just like skip ahead. Maybe hit that 15-second thing or whatever. But they're walking away after rescuing, or they're trying to break out, and was he like the third brother, fourth brother, the fifth? I don't know. He's the guy with the funny hat. He's walking away saying Reva's going to pay for this. And you see two stormtroopers walking, and they're walking past them, and they're so obviously like CG, because I kept saying, like, they look like assets from Battlefront 2. Like, they do. Like, it looked good. It looked fine, but it was very obviously CG. It almost looked like the CG stormtroopers that they put in the re-release of Star Wars, like the original ones. But I was telling people I'm doing a lot of lip smacking. By the way, I'm sorry. Hold on, let me take a quick drink. But yeah, I said, and then it cuts to another shot of like people actually dressed in stormtrooper armor, and you could tell that the previous shot was not real. There was a 10th anniversary re-release, critical response. Oh boy, there's a lot here that I can dive into. It's just me reading off the Wikipedia page because like I think after the one episode, I think it was Wolf of Wall Street, after I found like their critical response or whatever, and it pissed me off. I can come up with some good content. Themes, reality and dreams. In Inception, Nolan wanted to explore the idea of people sharing a dream. So he says, gives you the ability to access somebody's subconscious mind. What would that be abused for? The majority of the film's plot takes place in these interconnected dream worlds. The structure creates framework where actions in the real dream world ripples across others. The dream is always in a state of reduction. This shifts across levels as the characters navigate it. In contrast, the world of the Matrix is authoritarian, computer-controlled one, alluding to the theories of social control developed by thinkers Michael Foucault and Jean Baudrillard. Yep. However, according to the one interpretation, Nolan's world has more in common with the works of Jesus Christ, Gilles Deleuze and Felix. Jesus fucking Christ. This just looks like talking about the theme. It's about dreams. Dreams in cinema. People have argued that the film itself is a metaphor for filmmaking, and that the film-going experience itself, images flashing before one's eyes in a darkened room, is akin to a dream. Writing in Wired, Jonah Lehrer supported this interpretation and presented neurological evidence that the brain activity is strikingly similar during film watching and sleeping. In both, visual cortex is highly active, and prefrontal cortex, which deals with logic, deliberate analysis, and self-awareness. I don't mean to be reading all this off to you, by the way. It just interests me. I mean, I can see, I've never film made before, so I mean, I guess if you're in the filmmaking business, you can make that comparison, but for the normal everyday going man, he can't relate. But I guess it's I mean, it's the whole like production process too. This is a stupid one, but like finding all these different people in order to create this, because he needed the architect, right, which was Elliot Page's part, in order to create the sequence or create the reality that they're in. They need the forger, which was Tom Hardy's, which I guess I can say is akin to being like an actor or whatever. Like he needs to play a character in that. Different, like Leo is, I guess, in a sense like the director of the film. You know what I mean? Like he needs to direct all these people. I guess Fisher is the audience because he's the one that's dreams they're in, and they need to fuck with him. Let me look up other things about this genre. Nolan combined elements from several different film genres into the film, notably science fiction. Okay, heist film, yeah, because it was a lot like a heist film. It was assembling a team in order to do a job. Job goes wrong, need to improvise. Job goes well and or bad. I mean, however, heist film and film noir. Yeah, they tried to add that like whole love story kind of. Semantic term primarily to stylish Hollywood crime dramas, particularly those who emphasize it's like a crime drama. It shows like a woman and a man here, like this sort of love crime sort of thing that was going on in Cobb's subconscious. Marion Call, plays Mal Cobb, Dom Cobb's projection of his guilt over his deceased wife's suicide as the film's main antagonist. She is a frequent, malevolent presence in his dreams. Dom is unable to control these projections of her, challenging his abilities as an extractor. Nolan described Mal as the essence of a femme fatale. Yep, I can see that. I mean, I described her as fucking Freddy Krueger because she's going from dream to dream fucking everything. The key noir reference in the film is, as a classic femme fatale, her relationship with Cobb is in his mind and a manifestation of Cobb's own neurosis and fear of how he knows about the or well, no, I'm sorry, neurosis and fear of how little he knows about the woman he loves. I mean, he had kids with her, but he doesn't know shit about her. The ending, it cuts to the shot of an apparently showing of the shot of the top apparently starting to show an ever so faint wobble, inviting speculation of whether the final sequence was reality or another dream. Nolan confirmed the ambiguity was deliberate. I mean, no shit, no fucking shit. Saying I've been asked about the question more times than I've been asked about any other question about the film I made. What's funny to me is that people really do expect me to answer it. I don't expect them to answer it. All right, if I'm gonna ask Christopher Nolan about anything Inception related, I don't think the spinning top is gonna be on the top of my mind. I kind of made my own conclusion. I'm like, oh, that's obviously what he intended for, was to give it speculation. You come up with your own ending. The movie's over, and then you can take it how you want afterwards, right? I took it as he's in reality. It starts to wobble. It's not, but fuck it. You can say that he's in a dream sequence. Maybe he stayed with his wife in that reality. Maybe he did see his kids. You don't know. If that's how you want to sleep at night, all for you. My speculation to that conclusion is this: the spinning top started to wobble. Why did it start to wobble when in every other sequence when he's in a dream and it starts spinning, or any other sequence where it shows it's spinning in a dream, it's perfectly spinning. It does not show any wobble. Also, if he wakes up from this dream, what have you, is he still in limbo? Like, are we now witnessing him in limbo? Is that the whole thing? But how are we able to do that? I don't. If he were to wake up, what machine would he be connected to? I guess you could argue that he's in limbo still, but how are we witnessing this in limbo? Because in order to kind of witness all the events that are happening in the dream, you kind of got to be connected to the machine in order to do so, or in somebody's consciousness that is still one with reality, I should say. But I don't know. To me, it just makes more sense that he actually did get back to reality, and it's a cute little thing to kind of question people, because this whole movie was like, is it a dream, is it not? Because it even starts off with, oh, they're in a dream sequence, oh, now they're awake, psych, they're actually still in a dream. Computer video game critical response. Rotten Tomatoes film holds an approval rating of 87% based on 361 reviews with an average of 8.10 out of 10. The website's critical consensus reads smart, innovative, and thrilling. Inception is a rare summer blockbuster that succeeds viscerally as well as intellectually. Something I'm not, because I can't fucking pronounce the word intellectually. Metacritic, another review aggregator, assigned the film a weighted average of 74 out of 10 based on 42 critics, bunch of pricks. I'm sorry, you can rate a movie that great, but I've always found professional film critics to be the snobbiest bunch of fucking losers I've ever met in my entire life. I prefer talking to the common man about what he thought about a movie. You can go up to just your neighbor Bill and be like, what did you think of this movie? He's sitting there holding a beer, cracking over me, like, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty wild the way that the walls were moving upwards and the city was bending and the explosions were pretty fucking cool. It's like those are the kind of guys I like to talk to. I don't like people who nitpick like little scenes and they can pick out the pores of a CG character's face and be like, that's not. I know I was just talking about the stormtrooper in Kenobi. It was just something I thought was funny and very, very obvious to point out there, but it's not something that I take against the show. I'll still say the show's 10 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10, just to be a little bit more fair, but still, it's a really fucking great show. I don't know. I just think, and some of the things that film critics will pick out and complain about, I know I'm going on this rant for a little too long now. I'll watch something and be like, oh, that was pretty good. Oh, what's this rating? It's got like a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, because it'll have a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes and like a 90% on like audience score. But the 50%, when you read those by professional critics, it's stuff that they nitpick out that you never even thought of. And it's like, wow, you must be really just genuinely depressed and so is it pessimistic? That's the word that I'm looking for. Let's play. This segment is called Nathan doesn't know the definition of something, so he looks it up. Tending to have the worst aspect of things or believe that the worst will happen. That's what I thought. I just want to confirm it. I have an anxiety that whenever I say a word that I feel like is the correct like vocabulary, I need to look it up later because somebody will be like, you used the wrong definition. Yeah, you have such a pessimistic outlook on everything. It's like this movie was just fun. Like you can look at something like Rise of Skywalker in two different lights. You can be like, well, this movie fucking sucks because the movie has dog shit. Like I can sit there and be like, the movie dog shit story. It breaks canon. It not doesn't break canon, but just makes previous canon not make any sense. It just annoys me so much. It's just, but when you look at other scenes and like look at the movies just as dumb sci-fi action, it's really fun. You see rebels riding horses, space horses, on wings of star destroyers that have planet-destroying technology while fighting stormtroopers, both dressed in red and I think they were all dressed in red with jetpacks, and there's lasers going off. Like it's just a fun movie. It's a fun movie. I started going on that whole rant because I saw the word 42 I saw the words 42 critics. I think I mostly just saw the word critics and I went off. I'm sorry. Indicting generally favorable reviews after I just said everything. Yeah. Audience polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average of B+ on an A+ to F scale. What a fucking stupid scale. You gave it a B+, like it's somebody's graded assignment, like this is just somebody's project. Oh, fuck out of here. Just do like 1 to 10 or like out of 5 or something like that. Hell, do a new number system. Do like 30. I don't give a shit. But you gave it a B+. That's so condescending, like you're the teacher. Like, going on another rant. I'm sorry. It's just it annoys me. It bugs the fuck out of me. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone called Inception a wildly ingenious chess game and concluded the result is a knockout. Justin Chang of Variety praised the film as a conceptual tour de force. I love when people say it's a tour de force. Like, I gotta use that more often. If I rip major ass and it's like real, like a real ass clapper, I'm like, damn, that was a tour de force right there. So stupid. And wrote, applying a vivid sense of procedural detail and it's just yammering about how great it was. I was wondering if there was like somebody who had something. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, hold on. I was gonna say I just want to see if there's any like big controversies or whatever. Not all reviewers gave the film a positive review. New York magazines. It's always like the New York Magazine's dickhead McCuckamunga or whatever the fuck, right? Like like David Edelstein. Edelstein. Shut the fuck up. I haven't even read it yet. It's like, oh, it's not a positive review because it's from the New York Magazine by pretentious douchebag number 46. Claimed in his review that he had no idea why so many people were raving about it. It's as if somebody went into their head. Oh, he's really tearing into it, and it makes me feel even better than I already hate him and hate his fucking name. Even though he hasn't. As if somebody went into their heads while they were sleeping and planted the idea that Inception is a visionary masterpiece. And hold on, whoa, I think I get it. The movie is a metaphor for the power of delusional hype, a metaphor in itself. You are, what the fuck? Do you just not have fun watching any movie at all? I'm sorry, I'm heated now. So you're telling me that it's funny that this movie is getting such high praise because it talks about Inception, and it seems like people have had Inception happen to them in order to think that this movie was good. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't aware that I was hooked up to a fucking machine that looked like I was on life support by some random CIA operative that told me that this movie was good or not. I mean, I don't know, I guess I would have woken up and he was out of my fucking house. I just watched the fucking movie and I don't remember falling asleep at any point. If anything, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. But that's let me just destroy your corny little fucking joke with that. First of all, Second off, yeah, you seem to be kind of the louder majority here is that this movie was really fucking good. It had like you don't need to have some visually complex piece of cinema in order to like have like a great movie. You can have something that's just dumb and action packed or whatever and it be great. People love the Marvel movies. They're not fucking masterpieces, but you know, people to each their own. People will love them. I think they're great movies, but they're not story the story isn't a masterpiece. You know what I mean? It's like Endgame's got I'm sorry, Endgame's got the dumbest fucking story to it. It's great. You're telling me that in order to in order to reverse the effects of a purple alien snapping his fingers and wiping out half the fucking universe with some magic stones, you need to now do a time heist in order to steal those stones and then build your own gauntlet and then apparently put it on the right hand because the left hand's the one for destroying and the right hand, the left one's for destroying and the right hand is the one to reverse the effects of the spell because why the fuck not? The whole thing was a 14 trillion to 1 chance that it was going to work, and the only reason that it worked was because a rat hit a fucking button in a van and brought Scott Lang back. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't sit there and be like, it's a horrible movie because everybody fucking loves the ending to it where literally everybody who got snapped out of reality is coming back through giant portals. It's like the entire superhero squad plus armies facing, it's the classic good versus evil fighting aliens on a fucking planet. Like it, oh no, it was on Earth. Never mind. It was at the blown up. The visual of the Avengers compound now absolutely ruined. There's fire and ember everywhere. There's black smoke above you, and they're all fight like it. This is the end game. This is the end game. It's a great fucking movie, but the story doesn't make any sense. Well, that doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. It's dumb. But like to sit here and like. I don't. I guess you just can't be a fan of the weird and the unexplainable and the crazy and the just the sci-fi. It's sci-fi fiction for fuck's sake. It's sci-fi fiction. Sci-fi fiction isn't supposed to be a masterpiece. It's science fiction. It's first fiction itself made up. It doesn't exist. It's a crazy story. Science, where it's supposed to be taking something that science is supposed to be real, right? Or whatever, you can debate whether or not science is real or not if you're an anti-vaxxer, but it's supposed to be taking something that's reality. You know, like you can explain water is hydrogen and oxygen. There's an explanation to why the wind blows or why the sky is blue, whatever. That's science. Once you start putting fiction in front of that and be like, you know what, I'm gonna start making things up that it's like it's taking scientific themes and then just kind of adding fantasy and not lies, but like making things up in order to kind of create a crazy movie. Like I'm sorry, it's hard to explain why you can't just sit there and critique something that's science fiction as being shit, right? Or just being weird and dumb and whatnot. It's confusing to me. I'm heated and it's hard to explain, but it's like trying to critique. Like I'll go back to Star Wars. Well, like you can, you can't sit there and just try to like critique Star Wars. Like that's why I think like a movie like I said the Rise of Skywalker it's dumb story wise, but when you look at it as just a Star Wars movie, it's great, and that's what it lives up to, is a Star Wars movie. Do I like the fact that Palpatine came back and ruined Anakin's arc? No, don't like that really that much at all, but. It has its moments where the story is really fucking great. Like the whole Kenobi. It's going into the whole Kenobi thing now where it's Obi-Wan's PTSD creeping up on him, his connection to the past, the whole like Anakin thing that went down. Like he's a broken man. But at the same time, you see Darth Vader run through using the Force on people and him going into lightsaber battles. The latest episode had another great hallway scene of him just kicking stormtroopers' asses. Like, I don't know. It just the whole as if somebody went into their heads while they were sleeping, planting the idea that Inception is a visionary masterpiece. Okay, hold on. Visionary masterpiece. What? I don't. I think I'm getting hung up on the word visionary, but I don't think I'm taking it the way that he meant. But if you're also looking at it as like visually and stuff like that, like, okay, people fighting in slow motion and floating around is whatever, but there's a lot of slow mo. I like that. I like that. It was just like, all right, so the van tips over and there's water coming in and or what have you, or it's raining and it's raining in the dream world, or it just, oh, Jesus Christ. The movie is a metaphor for the metaphor for the power of delusional hype, a metaphor in itself. Who the fuck are you explaining your opinions to here? I'm an idiot, right? Most people aren't. Most people are pretty smart, right? But they're not like a critic level of like so far up their ass that they're, you know, they need to find these hidden themes and like, who are you explaining this to, saying that this is a metaphor for the power of delusional hype? Oh, because it's Inception. The idea is planted in their head that this movie is great, but it's really not. See, I go against the grain. I don't think it's that great of a movie because I work for the New York Times or the New York Magazine or what I don't fucking remember what it was. I just hate when I can't really break apart this guy's argument here where it's like the movie is a metaphor for delusional hype, a metaphor for itself, because I think the simplest way that I can put it is people are dumb and you're talking way above their heads and you're just kind of shitting on something that they like. Maybe that's simple terms, David, you fucking prick. I haven't even finished reading this. The New York Observer's Rex Reed explained that the film's development was pretty much what we expect to come for summer movies in general and Christopher Nolan movies in particular. It doesn't seem much of an accomplishment to me. What? You mean fun movies that everybody can just enjoy over the summer? Summer blockbusters are the term summer blockbuster is a common word, right? Jesus Christ. And you're saying that what Christopher Nolan plays to a type because he's a director? Oh my God. Quentin Tarantino and his movies that like have different segments of the story broken up and all these characters are pissed. All the killing. Oh my God, he really plays to a type. Where are all the rom-coms from Quentin Tarantino? Where's Christopher Nolan directing comedies, right? Like, where are those movies? Really do something different. It's just another Nolan movie, not much of an accomplishment to me. A.O. Scott here we go. Here's New York Times. Here's another magazine that seems to never like a fucking movie. Commented that there is a lot to see in Inception. There is nothing that counts as genuine vision. Mr. Nolan's idea of the mind is too literal, too logical, and too rule-bound to allow the full measure of madness. Okay. So, all right, here's the thing, right? I like that they explain the rules of the movie. Right, or not the rules of the dream sharing and what have you. Because when you just let things go ape shit in just, the rules of this reality, there aren't any. It's better when you have like set rules so that as the movie is playing, you can follow along with those rules. And it adds for really good like story where, let's say, the whole kick thing, right? Or not I shouldn't say kick. I think it's maybe like the white blood cell thing that he was talking to Aradine about, where as the dreamer starts noticing that they're in a dream, the NPCs sort of the projections start hunting down who the dreamer or who's infiltrating it, like white blood cells. I like that idea. It played a little bit in parts where, as Cobb is explained to Fisher that he's in a dream, the white blood cells start kind of looking and trying to attack who's infiltrating the dream, you know? If you're going to make a movie about dreams and what have you, right? I think it's a good idea to set rules and boundaries and certain kind of like, it's his just interpretation of what this dream sharing sequence can be. You know what I mean? I understand that your interpretation of dream sharing be like, well, there aren't any rules. Dreams are fucking just randomly generated through the brain and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you make an Inception movie. You make a movie that's this, right? That's this concept. I want to see how dog shit that would be while I'm sitting there watching the whole thing, being like, oh, so it's just absolute chaos and just dumb shit. Like I don't understand what's really going on because it's like nobody explained to me that, oh, this can't happen in the dream sharing world. It, I hate it. I hate like when they make these arguments, right? Do they ever think of what the opposite can be? Like what their ideal world here is, you know? Jesus Christ. I shouldn't be reading these. These are making me mad. The New Yorker. Why is it always New York? Are just New York magazines and New Yorkers just the prissiest bunch of little bitches? Oh, another David. New Yorker's David Denby. Oh, he looks like a deadbeat. Considered the film to not nearly be in brackets B, so it's not nearly be as much fun as Nolan. What is he saying? Not nearly be as much fun as Nolan imagined it to be. Okay. Concluding that Inception is a stunning looking film that gets lost in fabulous intricacies, a movie devoted to its own workings and to little else. What? So he's just saying what? It's stunning looking, but it's not fun. I was expecting more of a fun Nolan movie. Some critics have tended to review the film as perfectly straightforward and criticize its overarching themes as the stuff of torpid platitudes. Oh my god! Online discussion has been much more positive. Yeah, the common man, the simple-minded morons like me who watch a movie like this and be like, "That was a good movie. I liked it." Who don't nitpick and try to make sense of metaphors and themes to their own liking and being like, "Oh, well, I don't like the underlining tones and these themes, and it's just it's these guys who obviously perfected English classes and have like too much vocabulary underneath their belt, and they just need to shit it out every single time they make an article, and most of the time it's really pessimistic vocabulary. I gotta stop reading these. Inception, pretty fucking good movie. 4 out of 8. Yeah, I should make an entire episode just why I fucking hate film critics so fucking bad. All right. I think that's it, really, for what I want to talk about. Inception, great movie, really fun. I was thinking, I wonder if they could even make a sequel to something like this, but I liked it. I liked the whole theme of sharing dreams, Cobb's undealt past, and how it's infiltrating the dream and screwing up their plans and stuff like that. Like he can't move forward and try to see his kids without dealing with the past. Like he can't just keep suppressing it, and it's going to keep popping up. His Freddy Krueger wife will keep fucking with his plans, and the addiction of doing these dreams, this sort of like lucid dreaming-esque sort of thing. So yeah, that's all I really got to talk about. Hopefully the next episode won't be so far out. I don't know what it will be just quite yet. It's going to keep you on your toes. Make sure to follow this on Spotify or subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are watching it on there. Check me out on Twitch. There will be a upcoming stream schedule. I got to figure that out when I start my new job. But probably be like 8 o'clock at night, maybe. I got to just figure out what days. So be sure to check that out. And that's it. So yeah, I guess I'll see you when I see you.